Hello guys, welcome back to class. In this session, we'll start a fresh topic, arrays. Most important topic. So in the previous session, we have done the control statements. And now arrays. These two control statements, arrays are most important. Without control statements, without arrays, you are not going to write any programs. When you're developing any project, these are the important concepts. Arrays. What is the need for arrays? So till now we have written many programs and we declared many variables in various programs. We declare the variables also, right? If you want to declare a variable, how you declare this? Suppose you're declaring int a equals to 10. Means I want to store one integer value. Why you are declaring a variable a here? I want to store one integer value 10. So you declare and initialize. Again, I am declaring one more integer variable b. Means I want to store another integer variable. I have another integer variable. Then you declare another variable c. So I declared three integer variables. Any reason for declaring three variables? Any reason for declaring three variables, guys? Because I have three integer values. I have a 10, 20, and 30 are three integer values. To store three integer values, I need three variables. Can I store three integer values in one variable? Can I store three integer values in one variable? No, you should have separate. So when int a equals to 10 line is executed, it allocates 4 bytes of memory and block name is a, default value 0, but you are assigning 10. Again, b memory will be allocated 4 bytes initialized with 20. Again, a C memory will be allocated, value 30, 4 bytes will be allocated. Now, what is the address of A? In the memory, somewhere A got the memory, right? Address I am considering as a 500. B, we don't know where it gets. It may get a side beside to A or maybe somewhere randomly also. Consider B got at address 600 and C got at 900. So these are allocated randomly, not side by side. Okay. Now, I have a three integer values. So I declared three variables. Okay. But I have 1000 integer values. I have 1000 integer values, 1000 values. Can I declare 1000 variables like this? Can I declare 1000 variables like this? It is very tough, right? You can declare, practically it is possible, but you have to remember 1000 names, right? You have to remember 1000 names. Very tough to manage all the 1000 names you have to write. So here is the arrays comes into picture. When you have collection of more elements, when you have more values, then instead of you going for individual variable declarations, you can go for an array. So when to go for an array? What is an array? Array is collection of elements of same type. Collection of elements of what elements? Elements of same type. Any element. It can be a collection of integers, collection of strings, collection of booleans, collection of floating point numbers, collection of characters, collection of customers, collection of student objects, anything. It may be a primitive or reference, whatever, collection of elements. Element can be of any type. Okay, so you can store collection of elements. And here I'll take a small case. How to declare an array? Int arr equals to, we will explore syntax later. Int of, say I'm saying 3 only. The 3 you are saying is the size of an array. Why the size? That is depending on how many elements you have. I have 3 elements. Suppose 10, 20, 30. I have only 3 elements. So I want array with the size 3. It means you are going to create array object here. It allocates 3 blocks. Size is 3, right? It allocates 3 blocks of memory. How many blocks? 3 blocks. Why 3 blocks only? I told 3 only. Because I have only 3 values. I have 3 values. So I want 3 rooms. So 3 blocks I need. Now, what do you want to store in this? I want to store the values. What values you want to store? The value can be a character, value can be a boolean, value can be a double, value can be anything. I'm telling here integer, int. I want to store integers. For storing one integer, how many bytes of memory required, guys? For storing one integer, how many bytes of memory required? 4 bytes of memory. So here it has to allocate one block for one integer. How many integers you have? 3 integers. How many blocks? 3 blocks. What is the size of each block? Size of each block is 4 bytes. 4 bytes and 4 bytes. And you can keep, initially it will keep the default value 0, 0, 0. Later you can assign to 10, 23, whatever you want. Right? Now, this array address, here ARR is a reference variable. ARR is a reference variable. What it contains? Address of object. Address of array object. What is the array object? This is your array object. This address you consider as 500 only. This array address it is storing here. So it has a 500. So ARR is a reference variable. Am I right? You are declaring a reference variable. How many bytes of memory will be allocated for reference variable? How many bytes of memory will be allocated for reference variable, guys? So ARR gets 8 bytes, which contains the address of this. Now, more about array syntax, array internals we'll study later. From this, whatever you're seeing on the screen, you have 2 sections. This side, I declared individual variables. Here I declared individual A, B, C. I declared 3 variables. And here I declared array with 3 size. What differences you're seeing here and there? I have 3 integer values. I have 3 integer values. I can declare 3 variables and store in 3 variables ABC. Or I can declare an array with the 3 size. I can store all an array. So what differences you are seeing here and there? What differences, guys? In the case of array, I think we have only one name, right? Only one variable name. What is that? ARR. Only one variable name. But here you have 3 variables for 3 values. 3 variables for 3 values. Same if you scale it. If you scale it, I have 300 values. In the regular variable declaration, you have to declare 300 variable names. Very tough. Here, if you store 300 values, 3000 values, 10,000 values, or you store 1 million values, your array name is single array name. With a single name, you can access millions of values you declared in array. Next, address allocations you see. In the case of regular variables, 3 different addresses, right? 3 different addresses may be allocated randomly. Somewhere it allocates randomly. But here, you should know address of A 500, address of B 600, address of C 900. Like this, different variables will have different addresses. But in this, I think one address only, right? One address only. If you know address 500, elements are storing here side by side. Am I right, guys? Array elements are storing contiguously. Array elements will be stored contiguously. Means side by side. Side by side. If you know one address, 500, with that you can calculate. You can calculate 500 from this 4 bytes it is taking. What is second one address? 504. Next one address 508. You can easily calculate 500 plus 4. Second element address 504 plus 4. Next third one address. Easily you can calculate addresses of other elements. Only you should know the starting address, starting element address. You can calculate, but here you have all the addresses. And in the regular, it is allocating elements randomly. A allocated 500 address, B at 600, C at 900, where somewhere it is randomly. But array elements it is storing contiguously. Array elements are storing contiguously. Next important point to see, arrays are objects. Am I right? Arrays are objects, guys. Whereas these regular variables are kind of primitives. These are primitives. So whenever you have, easy to access, fine. But memory less arrays, memory less point is not okay, Ramesh, because arrays, if you compare currently, you see how much memory allocated for our array, how much memory allocated for 3 variables. Tell me that. Array will take little bit extra memory only, but there are more advantages. Tell me, guys, if I declare an array with the 3 element size, what is the memory allocated? Array side on regular variables, how much memory allocated? Tell me. Take the regular variables. How much memory allocated for the regular variables? 4 bytes for A, 4 bytes for B, 4 bytes for C. Okay, it is at 12 bytes. And array side, tell me. Array side, guys. Array side, how much? Tell me. You're seeing on the screen. $20 bytes. Very good. 4, 4, 4. 12 bytes required for 3 numbers plus reference variable extra taking 8 bytes. It is taking 20 bytes. Always 8 bytes extra will come for the arrays. Only 8 bytes will come extra. That is a reference variable storing array address. Okay, that intervals we will study later. So overall, what is the point to catch here is, whenever you have multiple values of similar type, then instead of going to individual variables, you always come for arrays. Motivation for arrays clear? And arrays are objects. Arrays stores the elements of similar types, and arrays are objects in Java, right? Array elements will be stored contiguously side by side. Those are the key points you take from this slide. Next. So when you're learning arrays, what you have to learn? Number 1, declaring array. First you have to declare an array. Number 2, creating array. How to create array? Object. Number 3, initialize array elements. Number 4, accessing array elements. You can say initializing array elements. You can say creating array object, declaring array reference variable. These are 4 important things to learn. declaring array reference variable, creating array object, initializing array elements, and accessing array elements. These 5 things we have to see. And these 5 things we have to separately. The arrays can be n-dimensional. Arrays can be n-dimensional. Means you have 1-dimensional arrays, 2-dimensional arrays. Java actually supports n-dimension. Maybe when you increase the dimension, it will increase. Mostly we'll use up to 3 dimensions. If time permits, I'll show you 3 dimension, which is possible. Even 4 dimension is possible in Java. N dimension is possible, but it makes it so much complex. You don't have any 3-dimensional arrays, 4-dimensional array usage in the real world applications. Mostly you have to master 1D and 2D perfectly. Okay. So first, these 4 tasks: declaring array reference variable, creating array object, initializing array elements, accessing array elements. These 4 things we have to study separately for 1-dimensional array. Again, how to do these 4 things for 2-dimensional array. Again, how to do these 4 things for 3-dimensional array. Okay. So let's start one by one. First one, declaring array reference variable. So array variable is always a reference variable. From this point heading itself, we can conclude that, right? What is the syntax to do that? Data type, bracket, and array name of the array. This bracket you can use either side. Data type, array name, and the bracket. Regular variables declarations you have seen. Regular variable declarations you have seen previously. How we have seen that? Data type and a variable name. Am I right? Semicolon. Data type, variable name, semicolon. So how you declared? Example, if you see data type, suppose integer, int a, semicolon. This is how you declared. What is a here, guys? A is a primitive variable and a is an integer variable. Because of integer primitive, right? A is integer variable. And in the array, how you're declaring? Same as that, something extra is the data type you write. And array name, suppose I'm taking A only, extra you are keeping a bracket. This is only the difference, see here and there. This is array declaration, variable declaration. So what's the difference you are seeing in this? What's the difference you are seeing in this, guys? What's the difference you are seeing? Just a bracket. What is the bracket represents? This is an array. This is an array. Okay. You tell me how many bytes will be allocated for variable A? This side, variable side you come. How many bytes here A? 4 bytes. Very good. Name of the block is A. What's the default value of this? Default value, guys, 0. Very good. Come this side. Here also A, but it is not a primitive, right? This is array reference variable. How can I say array reference variable by seeing syntax? Because the bracket is there. The bracket represents one bracket, 1 dimension. We are learning 1-dimensional array, guys, now. We are learning 1D array, 1-dimensional array. One bracket represents 1-dimensional array. Suppose if you want a 2-dimensional array, you just write 1 dimension, 1 bracket for 1 dimension, 2 brackets for 2 dimensions. If you are making 3-dimensional array, you make a 3 brackets here. Each bracket represents a dimension. Okay. Currently, we are learning 1 dimension. Take out. So the bracket represents this is a 1-dimensional array. Okay. So this is A. Here A is a array variable, array reference variable. So how many bytes has to be allocated for A, guys? 8 bytes will be allocated. What is the name of this block? A only. What is the default value of this? Default value 0, right? 0. Yeah, one of my friend came with 0. Two guys came with 0. Another guy came with 0. What is the default value of A here? Because of integer is there, you are telling 0, right? Basha, Ramesh, Banu, Venkat Shravani also joined in the same group. Is it because integer is there, you are telling 0, guys? Integer is there, you are telling 0. Is that? Then what about a bracket? If integer you are telling 0, this side also integer is there, 0 is coming. Then what is bracket? Any value for bracket? With bracket, same story. Without bracket, same story. Is that? It is a reference variable. Yes, Lakshmi. Guys, any reference variable in Java, always the default is null. Please read my old notes thoroughly, guys. Default is null always. What is the meaning of null? What is the meaning of null, guys? What is the meaning of null? Here null means nothing is there, no address actually, right? No address. Here null represents no address currently. No address currently. What address you can store in this A? What address you can store in this A? Array object address. Array object address. Do you have array object created? Currently no. So I don't have object created. So I don't have address. So I'm telling no address. No address representation is the null. Okay, guys. So regular variable and a reference variable. Array reference variable. Especially we are talking about array reference variable. Declaration syntax is this and this. This is how you declare it. A, it is integer array. Don't think here whoever told 0 above, guys. It is integer, int you are seeing, but it is an array, integer array. How many bytes of memory will be allocated for this? 8 bytes. I'll do more exercises on this. Come here, guys. Whoever told 0 previously, you have to answer this. Int A, semicolon. Boolean B, array, semicolon. Double D, semicolon. Char ch, semicolon. This anyway you will tell us that. Okay. So here I declared 4 variables. A, which is array reference variable, right? B, array reference variable. D, array reference variable. CH, array reference variable. And then what makes the difference? This is A is integer array reference variable, which contains the integer array object address. It means you can do like this, equals to new int of some size I am telling. This new int of 5 creates the integer array object. Integer array object can be stored in the integer array reference variable. Okay? And can I do this? Equals to new double of 5. I am creating double array. Can I store an integer? No. This int advantage is, why this int here is to represent the array type. Array type can be an integer. Array type can be a boolean for a B. Array type can be a double for a D. Array type can be a char for CH. Whatever it is, type, your reference variable always gets 8 bytes. So tell me, guys, what is the, how much memory will be allocated for A? How much memory will allocated for A? 8 bytes. What is the default value of A? Very good. How much memory will be allocated for B? B is a Boolean type. Array case, it is a Boolean type or whatever type immutable for me, 8 bytes and default is null. Double, 8 bytes, D, right? And default is null. Char, this is CH is a char type. Char means I think 2 bytes, right? Char means I think 2 bytes, guys. 8 only. This is not a regular char variable. If you say char ch semicolon, char ch is a char type. Now char takes the 2 bytes. Okay, this is bracket is there. 1D array, 8 bytes, guys. Default is null. So this story is clear for all. So whoever answered wrongly previously, is that syntax clear, guys? Very good. Now I'll ask you 4 more questions. You answer it. Which of the following are valid? Which of the following not valid? You have to answer it. Number 1, int A. This array declaration syntax is valid or not? You have to answer it. Bracket first, then the name. Bracket first, size I am telling, then the name. 4 kind of array variable declarations I declared. You tell me which is valid, which is not valid. One valid, okay. What about 2? 2 also valid. Why 3 not valid, Poonam? Okay, you come back to my previous screen. I'm going to previous screen, see. You see the array declaration syntax, please. See this. That 0 is, okay. So see, have you seen the syntax now? Data type, bracket, array name, semicolon. Or data type, array name, bracket. So array name brackets can be interchanged. Okay? Array name brackets are interchanged. This is syntax given. See in the syntax? Come back. That 0 is not there, Poonam. I'll just by mistake I read. This is not there. Yeah. Now tell me. Again, you're telling all valid. Okay, okay. See, this is the size I am writing here. In the syntax, anything I written as size or empty bracket I used. Syntax, go back. The syntax bracket I given any number or empty bracket is given in syntax. This is empty bracket given in the syntax. Now, here I am giving a number 5, not valid. Number 5, not valid. If you know the C++ languages, might be the syntax in C language, the 2 syntax also valid. Array declaration only, you write a size. 2 and 4 not valid, guys. Remember, when you are declaring array, this is array declaration statement, right? In array declaration statement, you should not specify the size. Array declaration statement, you should not specify the size. Java compiler will scold you. This syntax also okay, guys. But size is specified and not okay. Size is specified and not okay. Array declaration part is clear. We'll just play with the array declaration part, basic labs. Come back to the labs now. What is the last lab we discussed? Any idea? What's the last lab we discussed, guys? Array declarations. 191 we are done. That is with the last break and continue labs also, including break and continue. Have you completed break and continue, for loop, all that examples? No, this is a part 5. One 192. So to answer this, till now, whatever points you studied, all the points should be in your mind, guys. Okay. Int ARR1, semicolon, double ARR2. Variable names I'm taking like this. Here ARR1, ARR2 are reference variables only. Am I right? Integer array and double array. Whatever it is, how much memory will be allocated for ARR1? 8 bytes only. How much memory allocated for ARR2? 8 bytes only. Now tell me, very simple lab. Tell me what happens if I compile and run this program. Tell me, guys, what happens if we compile and run this program? You should not take this much time, guys. See how my learning style will go. When you're learning with me, how I'll take you is, see, we started a first session of Java, right? First session, first day, suppose day 1, you learn some 5 points, guys. Day 2, you learn another 5 points. Like this, 10 days completed means you learn a 50 points, right? You are learning now some day 11 or 12. When you are learning this point, today day 12, for example, today when you are learning this, how I design my content labs, simple labs is when I am touching this point, for this, any of the old points I have to touch. Any of the old points. So when you're answering now, you should have all 50 points you studied. 50 just number I'm taking. 50 or 500, many points you learned till now, right? You should have all the points in your mind. Daily you are adding some points into your brain regarding Java. You should remember every point. Then only you will be called as Java expert. I told a story how to do. You tell me, guys, what happens if I compile this program? So most of you given null, zero null, zero null. Bhavita is giving zero null. Lakshmi error. Manasa is telling error. Pankaj null. Object not created is my wish. Creating an object, you see the declaration syntax is fine or not. I need the reason also. Lakshmi, why error? Manasa is given some reason. Venkatesh Ravani, Ramesh. Explain the reason for error also, guys. So I'm dividing this into 4 statements, giving line numbers. This is line number 1. This is line number 2. This is line number 3. Can you tell at least which line will cause a problem and why? You have to tell. You have to tell which line causes the problem and why. Specific I want. Don't throw the stones. Now you should not get general messages, guys. Tell me very clearly, error at so and so line number, reason is this, like that I want. However, compiler is doing, this is a dry compile, like dry run, do dry compilation. Means however compiler thinks and tells the error, you have to do like that. You have to think like that. So you are taking this much of time means you are not so confident, you are not perfect on the topics discussed today. Right? Line number 3 and 4, Lakshmi is clearly telling. Why, Lakshmi? Line number 3 and 4. No, Pankaj, I don't want to accept a generalized messages. You tell me like a compiler. Compiler won't tell a messages like that. Durga is answering 3 and 4 because no initializations for ARR1, ARR2. No, okay. Durga has answered. Bhavita has given, but not clarifying clearly. See, guys, you declared array, right? Any problem in line number 1? There is no problem in line number 1. The next line number 2, array declaration, perfect. But here you are printing ARR1. Now ARR1 case, ARR1, 8 bytes will come. Am I right? What's the default value of ARR1? What is the default value of ARR1? This is the that's what I told you just now story, guys. When you're answering this, you should know all the points you will study till from the day 1 to today. ARR1 is a local variable, am I right? Again, Bhavita shifted to 0. How it is 0? Array null only, but it is a local variable, guys. ARR1 is a local variable or not? You missed a small point, see? Then, are you initializing the local variable? No, I am not initializing. Whether JVM will initialize the local variable? No, JVM will initialize. You are not initializing, JVM will not initialize. Then where is the value for ARR1? There is no value initialized into the local variable ARR1. There is no value initialized into the variable ARR2 because you are not initializing, JVM is not initializing. Can I use the local variable without initializing? So what is the compile time error you're going to see? What's the compile time error you're going to see, guys? I told you how to record error messages, you have to by heart error messages, simple error message also, you are not detecting the error message in this, and you are online, you are not in classroom. If you are in classroom, I could say something. Tell me now, at least tell me, guys, please. Error messages, anyone at least, what is the exact error message you're going to see now? Variable ARR might not have been initialized. Variable ARR1 might not have been initialized. You have to by heart error messages, guys. Don't waste your time on checking the YouTube, Facebook, all that useless things. Local variable ARR might not have been initialized. Variable ARR2 might not have been initialized. Right? So Java C lab 192.java. This is a old point. I wasted 5 minutes unnecessarily because you're not studying properly, guys. ARR variable ARR1 might not have been initialized. Local variables we can't use directly without initializing. Old point, I want to check how good you are in the old points. You are not good in the old points. Means, according to me, you are not so perfect on the topics covered till date. You have to study. Okay. Next lab. At least you answer this. I touched all the points. 193, guys. Now tell me. Now tell me, guys. I just moved to class level. If you are in a classroom, I could throw the duster on your. Tell me what is the error. Very good, Durga. Durga, very good. Durga, boy or Durga Manikanta? Boy or girl you are? Boy only, okay. Then I'll use Manikanta, okay? Very good. See, ARR1, ARR2 are instance variables. Instance variables cannot be accessed from static context, right? You can't do that. Compilation 193, but that is not the point I want. That is an old point. Non-static variables cannot be from static context. Okay, anyway, I'll declare as static, guys. Now at least tell me, guys. Now I think you can do that. 193 static variables I can access in the static block. Fine. Now static variables will be initialized by JVM, right? Static variables will be initialized by JVM. So surely you'll have a ARR contains, ARR1 contains null value, ARR2 contains null value. So this program compiles and runs, it prints the null value. Very good. Fine. Next, 194. Tell me, 194. I think now also null only. I am thinking this program will compile and run successfully and gives the null and null. What do you say? Srinivasulu telling error. What error? Why error? Declaration side, we cannot specify the size. When you're declaring no size, not allowed, not allowed, not allowed. Declaration size, no size allowed. So compiler won't accept this. Go and ask the compiler now. Okay. So 8 errors given. It is not understanding syntax properly. Something it is assuming. Syntax error. Something it is assuming this, that. Not clearly telling that straight away, oh, don't write a number here. It is assuming syntax in different way. Totally 8 errors for a something. Okay. We should not write a size. Strictly not allowed. Okay. So declaration part is simple. Only we said a declaration part, guys. What's the declaration part? We said it quickly. We are writing data type, either int or whatever you want. Bracket you write. Don't say the size. Give the array name. This is only the declaration part. In this, what is happening? In this, ARR is a array reference variable. Memory will be allocated for that. How many bytes? 8 bytes will be allocated. What is the default value? Null will be the default value. That's it. Only declaration part, allocating 8 bytes of memory and initializing with null. And to initialize, the variable must be instance variable or a static variable. If it is instance variable or a static variable, then only that reference variable will be initialized by the JVM with the null value. If it is a local variable, then JVM will not initialize. You have to go for initialization explicitly with the null value. But anyway, null is allowed inside that. Either you initialize or JVM initialize, it should be the null. That's only the declaration part. Okay. Now we'll go for creating an array object. How to create array object? How to create array object? Come back to this. Next one. Creating array object. So we'll see the total array syntax now. Data type and array name bracket, single bracket means one dimension, equals to new operator, data type, bracket, and here in the second side bracket, you must write the size. You must write the size. See this. Here, declaration part, you should not write a size. On the creation side, wherever you use a new operator, this side, you must say the size. So this particular part, we can divide into three sections, guys. This is a declaration, calling as a number one. This is a creation, calling as a number two. And assignment operator is number three. It is a number three. In this line, three things happening. Three things are actually more things happening. I'll explore again, increase the steps. Currently, three things are drawn in the diagram. Example, if I declare int ARR bracket, empty bracket equals to new int of size, I am saying, for example, 5, guys. So this is a valid syntax. In this, what is 1? What is the one part? You are declaring an array. Am I right? What is the second part? Is creating object. What is third part? Assigning object address to the reference variable. Assignment always assigns something to something, right? So three things. First, do the number one. What is the number one, guys? Int ARR, this part, first part. Do the first part, declaration part. Tell me memory representation, what happens when you do this task one? You are declaring an array variable. What happens internally? It allocates ARR memory. How many bytes, please? 8 bytes. Default value is the null. So that is the declaration. Task one completed, guys? Yes. Second part, I am coming to the part two, task two, this number two. You are asking, this second task is you're creating object actually. This is you're creating array. How you're creating object, array object? Because new operator is there. See, we have discussed about a new operator. I just told one line about that. What is the new operator task? What is the use of new operator, guys? What is the use of new operator, guys? It creates the object for any Java class. Any Java class. You want array object, hello class object, customer object, account object, any Java class object you want to create. New operator creates the object and it gives you the address. It will give you the address also. Where it is created, where object is created, object creates some address. Address also it will give it to you. You store it somewhere or you do whatever you want. Okay. So in this array, in this especially this is creating array object. What is happening in array object is, in the object creation, what is happening is, say this carefully. Allocate in this, because the number 5 given size, allocate 5 blocks of memory. 5 blocks of, why 5 blocks only? Because I told the array size as a 5. Was the array size given here 5? So it allocates 5 blocks. And if I want 100 blocks, what to do? You give it a size as, if I say suppose new int of 100, then what happens? You said array size is 100. You told size as 100. So how many blocks of memory has to be allocated? 100 blocks of memory allocated. Why 100 blocks? You only told us 100. Why you told 100? Because I have 100 values. If you have 100 values to store, you allocate 100 rooms, 100 blocks. If you have 1,000 values, allocate 1,000 rooms or 1,000 blocks. Currently, I have 5 values. So I'm creating array with the size 5, means 5 blocks of memory will be allocated. Now tell me, guys, what you will do with that 5 blocks? What you will do with these 5 blocks here? What you will do with these 5 blocks? What array you're creating here? What type of array you're creating? What type of array you're creating? Integer array you're creating. Am I right? Integer array. It means you want to store integer values. Am I right? How many integer values you want to store? 5 integer values you want to store. So what you will do with the 5 blocks? In these 5 blocks, I want to store 5 integer values. Correct? It allocates 5 blocks of memory for storing 5 integer values. Very good. Now, for storing one integer value, what is the size required? Now, what should be the size of each block? My question is, what should be the size of each block? 4 bytes. Why 4 bytes? Sandhya, it is 4 bytes, not 8 bytes. Why 4 bytes, please? Because it is integer, right? I want to store integer numbers. See here, I want to store 5 integers. For storing one integer, you need 4 bytes. I have 5 integers, so 5 blocks. Allocate 5 blocks. Block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4. First block size 4 bytes. Second block 4. Each should be the similar always. 4, 4, and 4. And after this, it will give the numbering also for the rooms, guys. This is a room number 0, room number 1, room number 2, room number 3, room number 4. These room numbers, block numbers are called as indexes. Array indexing always starts from 0. So what's the first room, first block number? 0. Index 0. You have a first element. Index 1, second element. Index 2. So what is the length of this array? Length is n, right? When you have n is the size of an array, then indexing will be 0 to n minus 1 only. Suppose here my array is a 5 elements array, indexing 0 to 5 minus 1, 4 only. After initializing 5 blocks for 5 integers, it will initialize with the 0 because it is 4 bytes integer related. Initialize with the 0. Now task 2 completed, guys. Was the task 2 here? This is the task 2. New int of 5, 5. When I say new int of 5, 5, what is happening? Allocating 5 blocks for 5 blocks of memory for storing 5 values and initializing those with the default values of the integer data type. Default is done. Now, what is the task number 3? What is the task number 3? Left side of assignment operator, new operator is used. New operator is creating array object like this. What is the address of this? So I am considering address as a 500, guys. So new operator creates an array of 5 blocks, initializing the 5 blocks with the 5 zeros, and the new operator returns the address of this object, which is 500 as I shown in the diagram. Now, what happens? The assignment operator job, right side, whatever is coming, it will assign to left side. So what assignment is done? This newly created array object address will be assigned to the reference variable. So it contains now this 5 and null will go. You got address now. It assigns the address 500. Is that clear, guys? Array creation, how it is happening? I'll take 2 more use cases to understand more and more clearly. Come back to this. Double D equals to new double of 5. And memory representation, I tell you, in this line, first I want you to guess. When this line is single line, right? Array, in this array declaration, construction happening. Once this line is executed, guys, can you tell what can be the total memory allocation happens when this line is a single line executed? What should be the memory allocation happening internally? Can you calculate and tell me that? Can you calculate and tell me what's the memory allocation happening on this line, single line? Sujita, 48. Sheikh, 48. Pankaj, you are only odd number in that. Why, Pankaj, you got 28? How you got 28? Can you explore 28? 47 should not come, like at least some even number I want to see. Okay, I'll do this. Check, guys. See, what happens now? Task 1. Task 1, memory will be allocated for reference variable, array reference variable D. For this, 8 bytes of memory will be allocated. Default value is null. This is the left side of assignment operator. Right side, a new operator. It creates the object. Means it allocates how many blocks of memory will be allocated? How many blocks, guys? 5 blocks. 5 blocks of memory will be allocated. Block numbering 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the size of each block? What is the size of each block? Ah, very good. Very good. Very good. Why 8 bytes? This is a double array. Means the point here is in this new operator, what it is doing? It allocates 5 blocks of memory. 5 blocks of memory for storing what? For storing double values. For storing double values. 5 blocks storing double values. As 5 blocks came, 5 rooms came. Double values. Each double takes 8 bytes. So I need a room size 8 bytes only for storing my double value. The array is a double array. So double elements I have. Double means 8 bytes. So this is 8 bytes. So this is 8 bytes. This is 8 bytes. This is 8 bytes. This is 8 bytes. And what should be the initialization now? Double initialization 0.0. Each room will fill with 0.0. Each block will fill with. Why 0.0? Because it's double type. Right? Now, the new operator returns the address. Say address considered as 900 is the address of this array. Now, assignment operator final assigns 900 here, means this is pointing this. Now, calculate these are 5 blocks. 5 into 8 bytes plus reference variable 8. 40 plus 8, which is 48. Pankaj, clear? Okay, one more I'll tell you. Byte B equals to new byte of 10 I am using. So tell me the size calculation for this. Again, 2 groups are there. Oh my God. B, how many bytes of memory will be allocated for B, guys? B is a byte type. I think 1 byte will be allocated. Am I right? B is not a normal byte variable. This is array reference variable, guys. 8 bytes. Okay, that point is clear. Now, how many rooms will be allocated? How many of your friends coming? 10 friends coming, right? 10 friends coming. So how many rooms you want to allocate? 1 room, 1 friend, guys, strictly. 10 rooms will be allocated. What is the room size of each one, guys? Something, 10 rooms are there. Was each room size? Byte. Your friends are byte type. Byte means 1 byte. So each room size 1 byte. 10 rooms size 10 into 1 equals plus 8. It is 18. Total of 18 bytes. Is that clear how the memory allocation happens for this internally, guys? Clear? Now, go back to the previous one. I have a doubt on you. In this integer array line, in this line, how many bytes? Tell me, to calculate and tell me this. In this line, how many bytes of memory will be allocated? This is 28, right? There are 5 rooms, guys. Each room 4 bytes. 5 into 4, 20. Reference variable plus 8, 28. Very good. Now, how to use the indexing? Each room allocated with the numbering 0 starting 1, 2, 3 like this. I want to assign a value 10 for the first room. How to access the first room? Error of 0. The array notation is this. Error of 0 equals to 10. So currently what is there at error of 0? 0 is there. So I am assigning a 10 value in this. Error of 2 equals to 20. 2, what is there? 0. This I am assigning 20. 1, I am not changing. See, error of 1, I am not changing any value. Error of 4, assigning 30. This I am changing to 30. So wherever you want, whichever element you want to access, you just write. Suppose I want to print a error of 0. Error of square bracketed is 0. This is how you access the element using index representation. Error of 1, you access the second element with index 1. Like this you can access. If you want to assign a values, this is how you initialize, right? You are initializing and you are accessing like this. Okay, come back to this now. So here, what I want is, I want to initialize the array elements. Suppose D of 0, the first element equals to 9.9. D of 1 equals to 9.8, something like this I am doing. D of 2 equals to 9.7. D of 3 equals to 9.6. D of 4 equals to 9. So here I am making 9.9. Here is the 9.8. Here is the 9.7, 9.6, 9.5. All I assign like this. This is how you initialize the individual elements. Initialization is clear. Now accessing. How to access? You print. I want a first element. D of 0 is a first element. It will access printing or do whatever you want. This is a parenthesis. D of 1 is a square bracket. This is how you access the elements. So is that clear, guys? Array declaration, array creation, creating array object, and initializing array with elements, and accessing elements of an array. These 4 things clear? Sandhya, we will discuss that syntax later. Initializing multiple values in a single statement, we will discuss that static initialization syntax, we will study later. So here we are constructing an array first. Okay. Now, array size, once you create an array, guys, it is just impossible to change the array size. Once array is declared, an array is created with the size 5, we can't change that number 5. Arrays are static in terms of size. 5 means 5. 20 array size, 20 once allocated, we can't increase the size, we can't decrease the size, right? Now, we'll start the labs on this. 194 is done. Next 195. So 195. I am declaring array first in one line separately. Now ARR equals to new int of 5. Now, whether array is initialized or not, this code you see, is this okay? Is this okay, guys? I am doing declaration in one line and construction in separate line. So what is there in ARR? What is, you're printing ARR. What is inside ARR? Tell me. What is inside ARR? What is inside ARR now? Do you have a null value or any address is there? What is inside ARR? Any null is there or address is there, guys? Some address is there. Okay. So this is what I want to check. Now tell me what happens if I compile this program. See the program carefully and tell me Pankaj is telling error, Lakshmi is telling error. Lakshmi is telling address, huh? It will print address. Okay. What about others? Random address will be printed. You see carefully code you see carefully. Vrishali is telling error. Bhargav is telling size must be initialized. We must specify the size. We must specify the size, right? If you go to hotel and say, I want to book the rooms. Book the rooms. Can you say book the rooms means how many rooms you want to book? How many rooms required, guys? How many blocks of memory has to be allocated for you now? How many blocks of memory has to be? You are not telling how many blocks. You must size array dimension is mandatory, guys. 105 compile time error. 195 compile time error. Why? You are missing the dimension. Array dimension is missing. Second side here, dimension must be specified. Clear that? Next, 196. 196. ARR1, array type, double ARR2, two declarations, okay? Then integer array I'm creating with the size 5. ARR2 equals to new double, right? New double of some 5 only, let it be 9 I'm using. And ARR1, which prints the address. ARR1 dot length. Length is a variable available, guys, which gives the size of an array. Size of an array. First you see this. So I think this program is reasonably okay, right? It has to compile. Syntax wise, anything wrong? Syntax you cross check. I think it is cool, right? It can compile, I think. So what's the output you're expecting? What's the output you're expecting, guys? Just 5 and 9. Okay. Compile successfully. So first array is, and in this I will print extra. Maybe this is not there in booklet. I want to show when you print array, what it prints actually. Address will not be printed. Actually, ARR1 contains address, right? ARR1 contains address, ARR2 contains address. But address you can't see in Java. Address is completely hidden. For that, to avoid the address, they are calling a two-string implementation. Some string they are returning, hiding the address, returning some string value, some representation. How array string representations are there? You remember these string representations? Just remember it. You see that? Bracket you are seeing, right? First is this. Let me rewrite that for you. This bracket is given first. This bracket represents, this is 1D. One bracket is there, 1D array. Which array? I is there next. Integer array. At the rate. And whatever next to the number is there, right? 15D. This is not address actually. This is a hash code. Remember as hash code. This is hash code. We'll talk about hash codes later. Next given bracket to represent array, then a D given because this is a double array at so and so hash code is there. This is a string, a default array string they are writing. Understand the string meaning internally? If you go for a two-dimensional array, they are going to give you two brackets. Two brackets D is given at the rate something means two brackets means 2D array and double array. This is one bracket, one-dimensional array, integer array, one-dimensional integer array whose hash code is this. One-dimensional double array whose hash code is this. When you print array reference variable, it prints the string representation like this. Is that clear, guys? We'll talk about these strings more clearly later. Okay. Now 197. 197. So I have integer array. You can also do this in a two lines or maybe in a single line also. I'm just doing it ARR, ARR. I'm doing this in a two lines. Can I do this entire in a single line also? Yes, you can. For this lab, you keep it a one line, two lines. We'll do it later. Now, if I print, guys, ARR of 0, what will be displayed? This is what I'm asking array elements, right? I'm asking, give me the value at a 0th index. What will come? Instead of 5, I'll use just 3 size. 3 elements are there. And N is 3. What are the indexes allowed? 0, 1, 2 indexes allowed. 0, 1, 2 indexes allowed. So I'm creating an array with 3 size. What will be displayed here, guys? Now 0, 0, and 0. Okay. I want to assign the values. Yeah, you can assign. First element, I want 100. This is the way you assign. Second element, third element. Second means second element index is second minus 1, 2 minus 1, 1. Third element, 3 minus 1, 2. Now after assigning the values, I'm accessing, assigning, again I'm accessing. When accessing again, whatever the newly assigned values, it will show that. Okay? This is 197. So output is 0, 0, 0, and then 100, 200, and 300. When you see this code, are you getting any trouble? Means, can we improve this code or something like this? Any problems because of the code you have in this? Any ideas to improve this? Or I'll give the clue, guys. Now, array size is 3. Means I have only 3 elements. So, I have a 3 elements. Printing first element, one SOP. Printing second element, another SOP. Printing third element, another SOP. 3 means 3 SOPs. Again 3 SOPs. I have 1,000 elements. Will you write 1,000 SOPs to print all 1,000 elements of an array? No, right? You should go for looping. Arrays, if you want to access looping now, looping mandatory for arrays. Otherwise, you can't write 1,000 elements one by one, right? So, right, we can improve this with the looping. 198. Wait. Anywhere I changed the labs properly or not? This is 196. And this is 197. Next, I had to go for 198, right? Okay, we'll do that in the next session, guys. Other array labs we'll do in the next session. Other array labs we'll do in the next session, guys. Okay? Other array labs we'll see in the next session. It's a time for break.